Kumpira nyo, totoo naman Jollibee got hit. Totoo Max got hit. Shakey's got hit. Mas risky pa pag nag-invest kayo sa kaibigan nyo na nag-start pa lang ng startup niya, ng negosyo niya for the first time. Should the company go lower in price, but the long-term fundamental prospects of the business would still be okay, di poposisyonan ko pa rin siya. Lalagyan ko pa rin siya. Hindi dapat akong matatakot. Kung hindi nyo siya tinabi, hindi nyo siya in-invest, mas malaking chance na magagastos mo siya eh. Please remember, it won't be up all the time. And you will have to deal with moments like this that where the rubber meets the road. O nga no, dapat pala inaral ko para times na mababa siya, alam ko yung gagawin ko. Over the past few days, we've seen both Philippine and US markets down, but in the same way, we've seen crypto markets up. And the reason why I'm making this video is I got so many questions, especially from people who have been in the market and I've seen their average number of months and years investing. For those who have been investing for just around 2 years, they've been asking what are they supposed to do, especially for long-term investors that have invested and they're now seeing their portfolios both for Philippine and US stocks also down, and in the same way, those who bought mutual funds, regardless if it was an equity fund, an index tracker, or even a balanced fund, some of them who have been invested for the short term are asking for my insights. So this video, just to add context to everything, this will be for long-term investors. What are they supposed to do right now as markets are lower? We don't know also how low this would go still. Please do note that I've been investing for over a decade now, and investing for over a decade, you develop also the experience and the skills, and of course your capital base becomes bigger. Your exposure also would change as you start to earn more as well. And I just want to go back to the time when I was starting, and I've seen 3 crashes: the 1997 Asian financial crisis, the 2008 financial crash, and then the crash that we had last year. But in 1997, I was not yet investing at that time. I was still in elementary, so I just heard it. I knew that we were at a recession at that time, but in terms of large massive crashes, I was already investing into 2 pa lang, 2008 crash, and then the 2020 coronavirus pandemic related massive drop, because I started investing in 2007, and I know this will also be relatable to a lot of people who are invested in mutual funds, in index funds, because those were also my first investments. And when I started investing, I saw the markets in 2008 drop massively. To be honest, I wasn't scared to see the drop. Of course, there's a part of you also that would get emotional when you invest in a mutual fund. When you invest in an equity fund, you don't control the positioning, control mo lang how much you put either on a lump sum basis or on a regular basis. But it never came across my mind to pull out my investments at that time. The first investment was a balanced fund, and the whole context of having a balanced fund was, number one, I wanted exposure to the stock market, and I also wanted exposure to the bond market. And at that time, please remember, 20 plus years old pa lang ako nito, and wala pa ako masyadong alam. I was just thinking that if things are not okay in the stock market, there's an exposure also, or ability by the fund managers to transfer the money into a bond market, which will somehow stabilize my portfolio. Or in the same way, when the economy is better, stocks will perform better. So I was thinking that if the economy is better, then may position sila sa stock market. That's also something that's very, 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 very good for me. I already studied the stock market. When you start buying stocks, you are investing in companies. And to those watching right now, I don't know what stocks you bought. It could be Tesla, it could be PayPal, it could be Square, it could be Jollibee, it could be Ayala Corp, it could be Pure Gold, Apple, it could be Microsoft. Majority of the stocks that I bought into were companies that I believe in, companies that I know. And even up to now, fast forward to 2021, the names that I mentioned to all of you, from Tesla to Microsoft to Apple to Ayala Corp to Jollibee to Globe to PLDT, those aren't really companies that magsasara tomorrow. Why are people scared? As long as you know that over a period of time, because the management is good, the company is good, they are very, very resilient, they have the ability to pivot and also to be able to shift and sell better, that the earnings will also recover. And siguro the difference between 2008 and now is that 2008, the Philippines wasn't touched as much because the recession was in the States, meaning the drop that we had in the Philippines was because foreigners were selling, not because the Philippine economy was bad. But fast forward to where we are right now, our economy has been hit. A lot of the good companies that will come out of this bigger, better, stronger have dropped in price. So either I hold on to it or I add some more. And please do note that this is not for trading. What I just said, it's mainly for investing. What I said also, it's because inaral ko and it's something that's high conviction. Your ability to hold on to a position when everything is scary will primarily be because of your conviction. It will primarily be because also of, dahil alam na alam mo siya. Na for example, hindi ako matatakot sa Apple dahil alam na alam ko yung Apple. Hindi ako matatakot sa Square or sa PayPal because I really believe fintech industry will just continually grow. Hindi ako natatakot sa Ayala because I know they're one of the biggest companies in the Philippines and I've seen their track record and I've seen how they've started also to pivot. People need to get this, that mas risky pa pag nag-invest kayo sa kaibigan nyo na nag-start pa lang ng startup niya, ng negosyo niya for the first time. Mas malaki yung chance na matamaan sila ng pandemic, magsara sila because of the pandemic and they get hit from a business standpoint. Kumpira nyo, totoo naman Jollibee got hit, totoo Max got hit, Shakey's got hit because they have a large cash position, because they're so big, because they're well run. There's a bigger shot that they will survive this than tayo na nagsisimula ng sarili natin negosyo or yung kaibigan nyo na naglagay kayo ng pera kasi meron siya magandang idea na milk tea na pwedeng buksan or yung shawarma na gusto niyang paglagyan ng pera. So back then, that gave me the confidence, no, that as it started to drop, I just kept on adding. I just kept on adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding because my goal at that time was I just really wanted to accumulate. I wanted to build a base. I wanted to build a foundation of investment because kung hindi ako naglagay, hindi lalaki yung base ko. Hindi ko alam kung gaano siya kalaki, babagsak. But I already knew it at that time na kung naglagay ako ng 10,000, tiniming ko ng property, tapos naging 20,000 siya, well and good. I earned 10,000 pesos. I earned 100%. Pero if I started to accumulate and then what if naging 1 million siya, pero dahil mali yung pag-timing ko, I would have been at a 5% loss. I would have been at a 10% loss. I only had 900,000. At least I had 900,000 than just 20,000 pesos. Kung hindi nyo siya tinabi, hindi nyo siya in-invest, mas malaking chance na magagastos mo siya Baka later on, it won't go into an asset. When I started out, I really wanted to just put it. And my context of retirement back then was 60 years old. No? Tingin ko sa retirement, pag nag-60 ka, retire ka, kailangan may ipon ka. My view of retirement has changed right now that retirement is not about age. Retirement is about living life at your own terms. That if you choose to stop, you can stop anytime you want. It's not about age. It's about gaano kalaki yung naipon mo, gaano kalaki yung na-invest mo, at gaano ka mag-deploy ng capital habang bata ka. Kung magkamali man ako sa timing, kung magkamali man ako sa pag-accumulate, if this sucks and does not do anything in the next 10 years, at that time I would have been 30, and at that time I still would have a very very long runway. Even though nag-60 ako, please remember this, kung mabuhay ko until 80, 90, and then hindi lang naman lahat ng pera nyo nasa equity funds or nasa stock market, you'll still be okay. Should the company go lower in price, but the long-term fundamental prospects of the business would still be okay, di poposisyonan ko pa rin siya, lalagyan ko pa rin siya, hindi dapat ako matatakot. And I stand in front of you right now, 2021, to tell you that it's one of the best decisions also that I've ever made. Why? Because it allowed me to build a position early on. Iba yung you're in the game na nararamdaman mo yung volatility ng market, na you are able to also build the skills that okay, I should have bought that at that price, or I should have put in more at that particular price. I saw drops as an opportunity for me to accumulate because it was really for retirement and my time horizon was longer. I know you've heard me say this over and over that okay lang sa akin kasi I would always put an amount of money that kung bumagsak siya ng 10%, 20%, tanggap ko I will never put an amount of money that I will feel super uncomfortable with kung nawala siya. Kung uncomfortable ako doon, I should have not invested it in that asset class. I should have also put that in the back instead. So please remember that every time you're uncomfortable to put in an amount of money na linalagay nyo, lagay nyo na lang sa bangko. Lagay nyo na lang sa something that is relatively safe, that could give you 2.5-3% return, pero safe yung pera nyo. I think that would be a better arbitrage also for your money kesa nakikigaya lang kasi uso siya. Because kung makikigaya kayo, tapos nakikiuso kayo, please remember, it won't be up all the time. And you will have to deal with moments like this, that where the rubber meets the road. O nga no, dapat pala inaral ko para times na mababa siya, alam ko yung gagawin ko. My mindset was really long term. My mindset really was retirement. My mindset really was long-term accumulation. My mindset really was that it's not as risky as what everyone else thinks it is. And fast forward now, no, comparing it to my investments, I would say that cryptos, NFTs are more speculative than my stocks. And that being said, the fact that I'm investing in cryptos, the fact that I'm investing in NFTs shows you that kung ito mas speculative, kinakaya ko. Ito, company na maganda, may future, may kita, may dividendo, ba't ako matatakot? And that's where the whole context of diversification is so important, because at that time, I knew I was earning pa naman eh. I had cash flow coming in. So why would I be scared? Eh, meron naman pumapasok on a regular basis eh. So bakit ako matatakot? Hindi naman kung bumaba siya, kakain pa rin naman ako araw-araw, may savings ako, may emergency fund ako, meron akong operational fund to help me, tapos may pumapasok, tapos hindi lang naman yung investments ko. If one asset class does not perform well for you, at least you have another asset class that could either protect you, give you peace of mind, and then you have other sources of income that could give you cash flow. To sum it all up, the large drops that I saw in 2008 was an opportunity for me to add more. It was an opportunity for me to build the skill and the experience, not to panic. It was an opportunity also for me to see, no, oh nga, no, long-term investing works eh. That it's the game eh, that it's not something na kailangan mo matakot also. And I hope that wherever you are, nakapagbigay ito ng insight sa inyo to be able to trade the markets, because I really believe that if it's done well, the stock market is one of the best ways for you to grow wealth. But never ever buy a stock just because sinabi ko, you have to do your own due diligence. You have to study stocks on your own as well. And that being said, if you want to know more about me, everything about who I am, the talks that I have, the seminars that I have, the books that I've written, and the YouTube videos that I have are all in the description below. So check it out there to know more about investing and learning in the markets, because at the end of the day, you are your greatest asset. Spend a lot of time to learn, spend a lot of time to build that skill, spend a lot of time to make this even bigger, better, stronger, so you get to find the right way on how you're supposed to invest, and you invest with conviction. If you guys learned a lot from this, put it in the comment section. I'm learning and I stayed until the end. And I'd like to invite you, end of April, we have Stock Smart's Fundamental Analysis. It will be a live training course. May naman, we have a Zoom class for technical analysis. Everything is in the description below. There, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your questions. And this is Marvin Germo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, guys, and God bless you all.